Welcome to the DL. I am your host, Tyler Robertson, the CEO and founder of Diesel Laptops. But let's just break that down for a second. Things are changing. EV trucks are here. You're seeing it in the news. You're seeing it everywhere. Besides me probably needing a name change in my company, I brought some people on here today that are going to talk about EVs, and we're actually going to talk about it from the dealership side of the world. So I'm fortunate today to have two people here with Affinity Truck Center. So Affinity Truck Center, they're in California. They're actually in the Central Valley. They were the first certified EV dealer in the Central Valley, according to Volvo, and they're actually certified by both Mack and Volvo. So I get to learn today, along with the rest of you, everything going along on the repair side of the world, especially when it comes to EVs. So I have today with me Chris Paris, who's the technical and sales director. And by the way, I had to ask him exactly what that title means and what they do inside the industry, which was good to learn. And I have Bob here as well, who's the lead trainer and the senior tech over at Affinity. So gentlemen, welcome to the DL. And I'm guessing this is your first podcast you've done in a while, or ever maybe.
How about the first ever? Yeah, thanks.
Well, I'm excited to have you on here because I saw the press release. I saw, hey, EV dealerships, certified, all those things. So let's just say this. I haven't seen a lot of EVs driving around. I'm in South Carolina. Are EVs out there yet? Are they running around California? Like, what's it like out there?
So from the Volvo standpoint or the Class 8 standpoint, we just delivered our first two. So the first two that hit the Central Valley are out now, or they're just starting their first runs, rather, that were production trucks. There's been some test trucks, there's been some demos, but the first production trucks just hit.
So I can imagine if you're selling trucks, you got to be able to support them, right? So that's what the certification was all about. So what kind of process was this? Like, what training was needed? What equipment was needed? Who got trained? Like, give us some details here. What it took.
The training was kind of fun. It was the requirements from the OEM. We sat down every week and had a meeting with them and talk about that they're still developing it as we're doing it. But we had online training that was required, not just of service, not just of sales, not just of parts. They wanted the whole company. I mean, our accounting people had to take this online training because they want everybody know what it is when it pulls in and be comfortable with it. So it was interesting hearing our accounting people in the administrative office asking questions in the shop going, what are they talking about traction voltage? What is this stuff? So it was interesting. That was the very first part. The next was ordering tooling and watching all the stuff come in. It was a decent investment, probably in the $15,000 to $20,000 range for the tools. Not horrible, but it was a big investment. And then the three of us had to go off to a training facility and actually learn how to decommission these trucks and make them safe to work on.
So
pretty much the show.
So, Bob, you're the lead trainer there, the lead technician. Was this like a quantum leap from what you already knew about electrical, about trucks? Was it totally different, or was it just kind of like a stepping stone into the next evolution here?
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, we heard about these trucks coming online a year or so ago. So we've been kind of prepping ourselves, reading some material out there on, what is the difference between we have amperage and voltage in a diesel truck. Now we're talking, what is it, the kV per mile? And,
kilowatts per mile.
Kilowatts per mile. And so there was a little bit of a change there. I think for the older technicians, it's going to be a huge quantum leap for them. The younger techs coming in nowadays, they're coming in right at the right time to learn about this. So, I think the younger generations was going to carry this forward with us.
So kind of funny because Bob started with mechanical engines.
Oh yeah.
I came in on early where there were still mechanical motors, but mostly they were electronic by the time I came in. And the evolution's been crazy, but we've been joking with students. I know you had Eric Rubio on here a while back, who's the high school teacher here locally. We've built an awesome program we've worked with since the beginning on that, and he's actually looking for funding right now to get an electric truck in this program. But we talk to these students and they're like, yeah, I want to be a diesel tech. I want to be a diesel tech. I said, you want to be a heavy duty truck tech. You're going to be working on hydrogen. You're going to be working on batteries, and you might see a diesel.
So I worked at a dealership for a while, and sometimes they'd call it training, and you go there, and it was like a sales pitch for 8 hours or something. Was this a little more in depth? Was it like a 1-day thing, or how deep did they get into these things with you guys? There's got to be some things to learn there. It's newer stuff. Like how was the experience that Volvo? It sounds like Volvo and Mack, or was it one course, or was it two things, or how'd they do that?
It's both. It was a 2-day course. A lot of terminology. I mean, that's, they want to make sure you understand all the terminology. A lot of new words, again, like traction voltages, the 600 volt system on this truck and all the safeties built into it. But no, you're going to go in there and get dirty. And it was actually interesting. We had a very high up person from Volvo show up to the training in this suit. And he says, I just want to learn this stuff. And the teacher says, oh, no, you're going to be laying on the ground in that suit. We're all getting dirty. And he did. He jumped right in. But it was neat to see from one end of Volvo to the other, everybody is involved, including the dealers. But no, it was definitely hands-on, definitely testing it. We're in there wearing, I got pictures of Bob wearing the blast shield over his face, and you got 2 layers of gloves and all kinds of protection on, and somebody standing behind you, just their job is to monitor you and make sure you don't make a mistake. It's gonna be bad.
So, I guess a question here for you, Bob. So if diesel techs are listening to this, and obviously you guys are a dealer, you're at the front of this, you're seeing the first trucks get delivered and all these things. Is there any big takeaways that you'd want people listening to know? Like, man, this thing was, way out of the world, or man, get good electrical, or any advice you give to people kind of knowing, hey, this is where things are going. This is where the industry is going. Any words of advice you give people there?
Well, I mean, definitely the technology, the electric truck technology is going to continue forward, even with the hydrogen truck. So I think the main thing to remember is the high voltage traction system. Everything is in orange. Don't touch the orange cable if you don't know what you're doing. So that's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, is that enough voltage to kill somebody on these things? I mean, I've heard that from other people. Like, you need to know what you're doing. If you don't, you can get seriously hurt. And by the way, that's not a knock on EV. That's true on diesel as well. High pressure oil lines and all that other stuff.
Right. And yeah, it's enough to kill you, and it's the same as like a PG&E lineman. There can be the vapor flash over from a cable to arc flashes. And, yeah.
So you got 2 of these things out there. When they first rolled into the dealership, was it, what was the reaction by all the especially the diesel techs? Were they all like, that EV thing, or were they all kind of like, nope, pop the hood, I want to see this thing, or I want to roll underneath it? What was the reaction from the normal guys, I guess, that are doing the diesel stuff?
You're still a tech at heart, I'm sure. And the same thing would happen if it went pulled in front of you. You'd want that hood open. You'd want a creeper and flashlight, and let me go in and go see what it is. It was the same thing. We actually have a separate building here that we park it in, where we have to keep them roped off anytime we're working on them. There's a security area you have to have. We brought them all over in groups and let them play 101 questions with it. And say everybody from the whole company. We brought everybody over, and we've got a demo coming out in a few weeks. We're going to do an open house for our customers and let them drive it around. The curiosity is just through the roof. People are just fascinated by it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine, right? Like people are curious. I mean, and actually, I posted a thing about an EV bus on LinkedIn a couple months ago, and it was a Navistar bus, right? And then Navistar actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you like to come to our e-mobility center and check these things out?" I'm like, yeah, I would love to do that. So I'm actually flying out there next week to go learn more. So this has been a great experience. So the other question comes up is the charging stations, right? So I'm assuming you're a dealer, you're selling them, you got to put some charging stations in, and you're servicing them. Like what does that look like? And I've heard those things aren't cheap.
The price range is huge on them depending on what you're trying to do. I think we're $25,000, $30,000 into the first charger we bought, which is a slow charger. It's a 25 kilowatt hour charger. For a customer, they're going to want something much more robust. They're going to want a 150, and price is close to $150,000 for that. We have actually, all this revolves around grants right now. If you want to be an early adopter, you want to get into it right now, you really need to look towards grants. Fortunately, we had 480 here. It takes 480 AC voltage. Most places don't. Our Bakersfield store, all our other locations don't have it, and the cost for bringing in that power is pretty significant. And I'm looking at grants right now at our other locations to get some help with it.
Yeah. I've heard it's very expensive, and I think you're right. All the early adopters here are either bigger companies, the Anheuser-Busch's that are saying, nope, we're in, or UPS's, right? They're like, nope, this is our future. We're good. We understand the expense. And a lot of those buses that we see out there today are, getting grant money and all those types of things. And I know you said the interest is high. Is that coming from the customers as well? Or customers like, man, I heard you got one there. Can I come look at it? Is that getting out there in the world?
Yes. It's, everybody is. There's a few naysayers out there, but for the most part, most people are very intrigued by it, very curious. We obviously wish they had more range. I think if people could put the bigger diesel tanks without the weight on their truck, they would too. Range is always the thing on a truck, and these just they're not quite there in the first gen, but the second generation that's coming makes it very practical. No, it's great. It's great. I was on the phone yesterday calling our waste customers. Mack has an electric garbage truck available, and people are very engaged, very, very engaged.
So the Volvo you got was the VN or VNL or whatever model it was. So more of the traditional, Class 8 truck. You mentioned the Mack. Is it medium duty? Is there more makes and models, or what's it looking like currently?
For our range, and the only stuff that's in production right now is the Mack and Volvo. There's a lot of people out there. I know Freightliner's got some demo trucks, and they're going into production. I think they're probably going to be the next ones. I don't know that for a fact, but I think they're next. But yeah, right now the Mack is in production. It's not the medium duty. It's the Class 8. It's the cab over garbage truck line. Is built for electric, and the city of New York's running, 8 or 10 of them right now.
Yeah, actually really makes sense in that refuse market, especially residential areas, right? Not the big diesel engine at 5 a.m. picking up garbage cans, something a little quieter.
Yeah, they can run all night long, and that stop and go actually recharges the battery, so it is a perfect application for it.
So, Bob, a question for you here. I'm not an EV guy. I know a little bit to be dangerous. I know with Tesla, they got different towing requirements. You can't put them on lifts. Is there requirements like this as well, that you have to handle these things a little bit differently in applications, or is there not really too much difference?
Well, the truck itself, it's still a truck, like a regular diesel truck. It just remove the diesel engine and transmission and drop in the electric motors. So it's still a truck. You can tow it the same way as you would tow a diesel truck. You still have your air systems, your brake system, suspension, HVAC, all of that. So you got to keep in mind, it's still a truck.
Yeah.
It's got all the same systems as a diesel. Yep.
Yeah, putting it up on lifts, you've had them on lifts. I know that. As far as towing them, with a diesel truck, you can burn up the transmission if you don't pull the drive line, right? On our trucks now, there's a lot of different lines out there. Some have wheel end motors. Ours do not. Ours has a motor and a transmission, so you still have a typical drive line, just like you would on a regular truck. You remove the drive line when you go to tow it from the front or go from the back. Yes, it will start generating electricity if you tow it and leave the drive line in, and could cause some problems.
So I'm going to ask you guys both this question. I'd love to hear your answers. First time you drove one yourself, like what was the experience like?
I thought it was a big golf cart. It was quiet. I couldn't believe it. It was. I've drove them quite a bit the last couple of weeks, and it still impresses me when I drive them. So, yeah.
They're incredibly smooth. You're typically going from a 10 to 13-speed transmission in a truck, and that rocking back and forth as you take off, especially if you're really on the throttle, right?
Yeah.
This has a 2-speed transmission in it. You'll never even know it shifted. It's just this incredibly gentle acceleration. It was kind of interesting. We had a customer demo it, and with the first driver out, says, "Well, it kind of feels slow." And every other driver said, oh no, I was leaving everybody on the road with this thing. It's just so smooth when it accelerates, you don't notice it. It's fast. It's incredibly fast.
And you guys mentioned the battery earlier, right? And I kind of look at it like Tesla or some of these other companies, right? The first gen stuff, it is what it is. Second gen better, third, they just keep improving. So can you talk a little bit about where's the battery life today and if you know anything of, where they're trying to get to?
Well, the battery life, what was kind of fun is just in 1 year, they had a 40% improvement in the batteries. That's a huge leap. To speak to the exact kilowatt hours, I can't remember what they are, but we went from about 120 mile range to about 240 mile range by adding 2 more batteries and by increasing the efficiency of the batteries. Done quite a few different ways, changing the cooling. It's really important on these batteries that we manage temperature. They don't like hot and they don't like cold. So just like an engine, we've got to keep it at one temperature, and it helps. The growth, where they're going to go, eventually that growth curve will slow down, I'm sure. And that's when we're going to see hydrogen electric take over for the long haul guys. But 240 miles becomes usable, especially with a top off charge and those kind of things that they can do on route.
So the other question we get asked all the time, or we hear people asking, is like, what's the weight on these things? Are they comparable? We removed a diesel engine, but batteries are heavy, right? And I get these are limited use, special use situations. Can you speak a little bit about empty weights?
So they are heavier. There's just no way around it. They're significantly heavier. But on the good side, we have a 2,000 pound allowance from the government on it, or from DOT on it. So instead of being an 80,000 pound limit, they're 82,000 pound limit, which helps, but they're more than 2,000 pounds heavier than a diesel.
Yeah.
You're going to look around 22,000 pounds for a Class 8 3-axle tractor.
Yeah. No, and that's, again, technology catches up to all things eventually. And, Bob, I guess the other question people have is like, what's the warranty on these things, right? Are they longer warranty? Are they, how's the, I don't know, is there standard warranties and extended? Or I don't know how the whole world works there anymore on the dealership level. But can you guys talk a little bit about warranty? And really the reason I'm asking that question is, when does the aftermarket need to worry about it, right? If these things are going out in the field and they're 5-year warranties, we probably got some time before we have to deal with it. I'm curious to see where they're at.
Yeah, they do. In fact, I'll let Chris take over on this one. Right down his wheelhouse.
So Volvo wants this to work, right? We all want it. We want this product to fly. We definitely don't want our customers to have any grief. It is a 6-year, that they're calling it a gold carpet or service or contract. A 6-year warranty that covers more than I have ever seen anything ever covered in my life, from windshield wiper blades to brake shoes. The aftermarket has a little bit of time. They've got a little bit of time because we're launching these in big fleets that normally take care of a lot of their own stuff. And even the techs are going, well, when are we going to touch it? And guys, we don't want anyone to have to sweat this truck when it goes in. Is it replacing their whole fleet? No, absolutely not. Will it get to the aftermarket? It has to. It's going to get there. It will be available to everybody, but we don't want anybody getting hurt. And so they're even with us, the training requirements on us is to make sure that we're learning, because we're expected. He's the trainer. He's expected to teach, and he does. He goes into one of Bob's jobs is going out in the field and teaching our customers how to work on their trucks. We have a lot of big fleets that have to work on their own, and we want to make sure our product shines, and you got to teach them the right way to do things. So 6 years, it's going to be a while. And the battery degradation, they're expecting no more than 2% a year. They're guaranteeing that they'll still have 80% of their life at the end of the 6 years. So it's pretty good. I heard the Tesla cars, after talking to the Highway Patrol yesterday, that they're dropping 10% a year. So if we can do 2%, we're pretty excited.
Yeah. So Bob, you work side by side, shoulder to shoulder with a lot of diesel techs. Is there, I look at it, if I was a diesel tech, I may look at it and be like, well, there's no engine, there's no after treatment system. That's a lot of the work we do today. Like, how secure are they feeling in their jobs? Are they concerned at all about, like, man, there's not going to be as much demand for our profession, there's less moving parts, less repairs? Or is that really not a concern that anyone's really thinking about at this point?
That's really not a concern. In fact, the techs out here right now, they're getting excited to get their hands on them as well. There's still, like I say, it's still a regular truck. There's still going to be brakes to do and fixing the AC, but they're also looking at getting into the 600 volt traction drive system and all of that. So, yeah.
There's a lot of new components that we've never had before. I mean, I know that they keep saying less and less, but you've got a power steering electric motor to run your pump now. You've got electric motors to run two 24 volt AC compressors, a 600 volt air compressor. There's a lot of heat management, thermal management stuff for the batteries. We have 4 electric water pumps on there. So, there is still plenty of new. There's a lot of new, actually.
There's a lot of new, yes.
And things will break.
Well, and I'm actually really hopeful here. I mean, I don't know how it is with you guys, but most of the world can't find enough diesel technicians, heavy truck technicians to do these things. And anytime you get new technology into an industry, it tends to attract some more people into it, like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I want to learn more about that. And it's a whole new world that gets opened up. So I'm really, looking forward to it. I think you guys kind of mentioned it too. It sounded like your younger techs are a little more excited about it than the older guys, or is it everyone kind of on the same page there?
I don't know. I think the younger guys have a little more excitement than the older guys. The older guys are just like, something new to learn, but okay, let's go.
We see Duncan Polytech, one of the local high schools, pushing. They want to get an electric truck in there. I know the students are asking questions. We have their kids come over here once a week and work side by side with our techs in the shop and get a chance to see a lot of this technology. The young guys are definitely engaged. We joke about the computer learning here, especially through COVID. They're dialed on e-learning, on online learning, where the older guys are a little bit struggle through that stuff. These guys pick it up fast. Getting the practical hands-on is going to be where the challenge is. And I don't know. And it is, like you said, I think it's exciting. It's new. It's fresh. Hopefully it brings some new people to it.
Yeah.
We could hire more today. We need more.
Yeah. I remember, so I'm in my, early 40s. And I remember when the internet became a big thing. I remember had an internet site, and internet kind of blew up, and it was this new thing. And I kind of feel that same kind of excitement here with the whole EV. And like you said, fuel cells and hydrogen and all these other things are like right behind it. And I think people look at some technology today and like, it only does 240 miles and this and that. And you're like, man, that's first gen, second gen, third gen. Like it's going to go really quick. The government's putting a lot of money behind this. And I think sometimes people look at like, that whole hybrid thing that Eaton and whoever did a couple years ago never really took off. It's another fad. This is not a fad. This is the reality of the way the world's moving. And we can all see that coming from 100 miles away. And I hope people listening to this podcast need to understand this is not they'll be here someday. They are here today. And it's only going to get more and more popular. Costs will get driven down on these things. Trucks will get lighter. Ranges will get better. It's inevitable at this point, and it's a thing you can't stop moving. If for the people that are trying to stop it moving, just don't even think that way. Think of how you can use this to your advantage and move forward. And it sounds like your dealership's all in on it. It sounds like they're understanding this is the future of where we're going.
We've ordered some. I think it was 6. Just this year, I ordered 6 electric vans. They're Ford transit vans, e-transit vans, for our dealership to start delivering parts. So yes, from bottom to top, we plan on being all in, and it just makes sense. You look at the $6 a gallon at a pump here. The math is there on the light duty and the medium duty, and it will be pretty quick on the heavy duty as well.
So I'm waiting for the federal government, when they figure out, or the state governments, to figure out, wait a second, if people aren't paying money at the pump for road taxes, how are we going to pay for these roads anymore? So that's a whole nother conversation, I think, that's going to get unraveled as time goes on here. So it's been great having you guys on here. I worked at dealerships for over 10 years. So I can imagine the excitement there, and I know what's going on across the country. Obviously, California is a little bit ahead of everybody else just based on their position and all the things they're trying to accomplish with zero emissions and all those things. And fact is, I want a cleaner world for my kids and my kids' kids. So I think it's all great stuff. Every business, even when you have the word diesel in the name of your business, it means to adapt and change to everything coming on. So if people are listening to this, they want to reach out to you guys, to Infinity or you individually, where should they go? How do they get a hold of you guys?
The best way is either just call the dealership. Look us up online, affinitytruck.com. You can email me, my first initial last name at affinitytruck.com, cparis at affinitytruck.com. you can get our number right off our website and give us a call.
Well,
if it's sales questions, we'll get you there. If it's service questions, we'll get you there too.
Well, I really look forward to following the journey of the whole EV thing, seeing how Affinity handles it. If people learn nothing from this, just realize there are government money spending billions, and there are private companies like Affinity spending money to make this thing happen. And it's because everyone understands where it's going in the future. It's coming. We're going to do a lot more podcasts talking to manufacturers, talking to fleets, trying to unravel this whole thing and understand where it's going. And I know our audience, we get asked all the time about EVs. I used to be able to say, look, there's more Bugattis in the US than there are Class 8 trucks with electric. I'm not going to be able to say that very much longer here. So I get the trend that's going. So thank you very much for coming on. We're going to call it a show with everybody that's been watching and listening. We love your comments. We love it when you share. We love the likes, the little heart symbols on some of these sites, whatever it is. Just please mash those buttons. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Keep in mind, it's not just diagnostics. It's diagnostics done right. And electrification is going to be part of that equation very, very soon for you if it's not already. We'll catch you on the next episode.